Hey Samford fans, welcome into another edition of the Samford Sports Wrap-Up presented by Alabama Power. I'm John McAfee. Very happy to be joined today by our former Senior Associate AD for Operations and new women's golf head coach, Joe Davidson. Joe, appreciate you taking some time.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Well, this is one that I've certainly been looking forward to. And for those that don't know, Joe's been in college athletics for over 40 years. He's been at Samford since 2012, first on the university side, then came over to athletics in 2016, where he's also served on Martin Newton's senior leadership team. And before we get into your golf background and your new role as golf coach, I want to talk a little bit about the operations side, because what you and your staff do, a lot of it goes unnoticed. A lot of it is behind the scenes, especially for a sport like football where there's so many moving parts. On any football game day, what does it look like from your perspective?
Well, John, I appreciate it. It really starts on Monday when we start the process, and football game week is all day, every day, as you well know. So we do everything from cradle to grave for football. We're the first ones here, we're the last ones to leave, but anything from parking to set up. We meet with the officials on Friday night, we get them their credentials. There are 2 phone meetings throughout the week. There are 2 game day meetings that we have throughout the week. And those can be long, depending on what's going on during the week. But on game day, we're here about 5:30. Doesn't matter what time it is, because we have to do things from block lots to get credentials ready, and again, there's an early morning call with conference officials as well. So we do the setup, the game management, and then of course the breakdown after. And so we're never not busy on game day.
When you look back at the last few years on the administrative side at Samford, what kind of sticks out in your mind?
Well, I've always, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And, it never has bothered me when we got a lightning game or we have a postponement or whatever, because we're ready for that. And I try to teach my guys to, let's look for the worst and work our way back. And we've always done that, especially the game against Kennesaw State when we had the 3-hour rain delay and we didn't finish till really late, but we got it in. And, it's just a lot of that really, I think it's fun because I love the challenge. And those hot days are cool days. I mean, you go from extremely hot to extremely cool throughout the year, and we're prepared for that.
One thing that I think will always stick out in my mind is that last softball game we had in the spring, March 12th against Bryant, when really the entire sports world had shut down. We were really the last event standing, and after the game, you had to go up to Mandy Burford-Johnson, our softball coach, and put your arm around her and explain to her that, hey, our season's been postponed. We have to tell the team, and obviously that's something that's really difficult. What's going through your mind in a situation like that?
Well, throughout the day, really, we knew it was coming. We just didn't know exactly what. The unknown is not what we always fear. It's just we've got to be prepared for that. And with them, their coach was getting calls because they were coming down from New York and they had played Vanderbilt and UAH, and they were coming to us and going to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. And so he was trying to play as many games as he possibly could before he had to go back to New York. So we were in contact with them throughout the day. So we knew mid-game, and I was talking to Mandy throughout, and I know you have footage of this, of me going up to Mandy after the game and say, look, we need to tell the team, and I need to explain to them what's going on. It's an emotional talk. No one wants to hear that you got to shut down, especially when you began. I think it'd been a lot easier if it had been preseason, but during the season, and I thought we had a really good team. We were hitting a lot of home runs. We were doing a lot of good things. And in talking to them, they understood, because we had not yet completely shut down. We actually go on and practice for a week or for 10 days. And then after that, I think everyone understood the importance and where we were headed with this pandemic.
You had 2 pretty lengthy stints with UAB and a variety of roles. You kind of worked your way up through the athletic department, and between those 2 stints, you also served for a period of time as the Jacksonville State athletic director. With all the roles you've held, where does being an athletic director rank for you?
It's what I always wanted to do. I mean, I go back to even my mom, who was a PE teacher all her life, and she kept she really ran that gym and made people stay off the floor with their street shoes and stuff like that. So I learned a lot from her, and my high school coach was so tough on us that he made us learned so much about. We cleaned we won a state championship, but we also cleaned the gym after every game. So, you know, it was a lot of that early on, and then my mentor, Gene Bartow, I couldn't, you know, I mean, I owe him everything. A lot of us do that spent time at UAB, because we all went on to be athletic directors. There were 7 of us that went on to be athletic directors, vice presidents at ESPN. So we all stayed in the business for a lot of years. And I'm very fortunate to have been around that and host NCAA regionals early on in the 80s when no one else would. And that kind of inspired me to be an AD. I wanted to be an AD as soon as I could, and I was at the Division I AD at 39. And those years at Jack State, I have great memories, great friends. Again, Greg Seitz, who worked for me there, is now the AD there. He served on national committees, is on the NCAA Division I football committee. So I hope, you know, those people there were very good, and you know, lifelong memories of all of that. And I bring back that everything we've learned on things that we do today. It's still a sport. It's still a game. That didn't change, and we manage it the same way.
Let's pivot to golf now, and I know anyone that's ever spent any time around you knows how much you love the game of golf. And when you were at UAB, you were the head men's golf coach for 9 years. You also coached a golf class for 35 years. What has the game of golf meant to you?
Oh, it's been, you know, I started playing when I was 7. My uncle introduced me to the game. He could hit it further than any person I've ever seen. You know, I can tell you when I had to pick whether I like Palmer or Nicklaus, I chose Palmer. It's kind of like in this state, people picking Auburn or Alabama. And so I kind of style what I did after Palmer. You know, went through, played a lot. At UAB, we were kind of low on players, so me and a couple of guys decided we'd play for the team, and we did a few matches, and that's kind of how it all started. And then in 80, our coach, the great Jimmy Ballard, went back to full-time teaching, and they asked me to do it, and I did it. And it's not unlike when Martin and Michelle came to me and asked me, do I have any interest here?
Yeah, what was your initial reaction when Martin approached you about taking this job?
Well, I had traveled with the team last year because Haley Wilson was pregnant with twins, and we felt we needed an administrator to go on the trips with them. So I had gone on the first trip to Amelia Island, and I got to know the players really well and saw their competitiveness and interacted with them very well. I probably would not have done it if I didn't know the 5 that are coming back and had been on that trip. So that inspired me. It allowed me to do something that I'd done early in my career in the 80s. And you know, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I haven't seen our 2 freshmen play, but I heard they've had very good summers, and I look forward to them to mixing in with what we're doing.
What does the future look like, both in the immediate future and the long-term future for this program?
Well, we're a young group. I have no seniors this coming year. I think that mix and their competitiveness. I saw, you know, some fire in those ladies. We won a tournament, a very good tournament last year at Wofford. So that I'm excited about, because they're eager to get back here, and they're eager to practice, and they've all played and practiced throughout the year. You know, we've got them from all over the Southeast, and we've got a player from England. And so they mix well. I've seen that closeness with them, that some teams I had and some teams I didn't. That'll have to, you know, they'll have to mix that themselves and compete against themselves as well as compete against other teams.
Joe, I really appreciate your time. I know everyone appreciates what you've done for Samford Athletics, and we're looking forward to a women's golf season in the spring.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Joe Davidson, the newest women's golf coach here at Samford University. I'm John McAfee. That'll do it for this edition of the Samford Sports Wrap-Up presented by Alabama Power.